Welcome to the
Sisters Podcast.
The Sisters Podcast. All right. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Sisters Podcast. I got the one and only Jordan Smith in the building. Jordan, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Sorry,
Happy to be here.
No,
that's okay. That's all right. If you know me, you know that's my name. That's all right.
I watched one of your episodes. People know you as Smitty. That's what they call
And you know
you.
what happens? I'll introduce myself as Jordan, and the longer you know me, it just turns into Smitty.
Okay.
So it's all right. It's cool either way.
All right. Well, we just getting to know each other. So I'm gonna start off with Jordan until we get there to that point. But
we're gonna level it up.
Right. I followed Jordan on Instagram, saw him doing amazing work in the community. The first time I got to know you or saw anything that you were doing is when I saw a post of you hosting a men's mental health cookout.
Yep.
And I was just so amazed that was happening in my city. I'm like, I gotta connect with this dude. I gotta see what's up. I never, you said you went to Central, I went to Kobe, so we really wouldn't have passed each other until like if we knew somebody of each other.
Yeah, mutual people.
Yeah, I'm glad to know that we finally got you on and you were here. So thank you.
Happy to be here,
Thank
man.
you so much. So why don't you start off by introducing yourself? Tell the people who you are for the ones who don't know you.
Yeah, so for those who don't know me, my name is Jordan Smith. I'm a life coach and mental health speaker based out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. My aim is to help 500 men connect with therapy by the year 2030. We've made a dent in that so far through events and different speaking engagements, and we're hoping to continue to do that good work. So connect with me on all social media at Jordan Speaking, and we'll take it from there.
You could tell he a pro because that was a great pitch. 500 men.
I've been working on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
how'd you get there? What was the vision that got you there?
So I started with trying to do 100 men by 2030, and everyone I've spoke to about the vision, about the goal, they were like, yeah, 100 is too low. And I'm like, is it? Because I'm like, that's a lot of people.
Right.
So I was like, man, if you're saying it's too low, let's just 5 times it, and like, let's just do 500 people, because men really need to connect with therapeutic services. A lot of men try to just tough it out on their own or try not to feel stuff and just push through it. And when I say men, I mean me too, because I was there. But therapy changed my life along with my relationship with God. And I know we'll tap more into that later in the pod, but yeah, it's needed. So I'm trying to be that change I want to see and help men get connected.
And that's how, I know I'm jumping ahead, but the conversation already going, but that's how you started off with the cookouts, kind of bring the vibes together with the men and kind of branch out.
Yeah. So the cookout started 2 years ago in my backyard. And I was like, we just need a space, because I've been trying to reach men. And one thing I've learned in this mental health space is that women will support you a lot faster than men will.
Yes.
Right? Like, women get it. They understand it. They are already on their healing journeys. Us as men, we're like super hard-headed. We'll sit there and with our foot cut off and be like, no, my foot is fine. It's like, no, bro, it's not fine. Like, that's how stubborn we are. But so I was like, well, how can I get men to show up for something mental health related without it being like them feeling like, oh, I have a problem if I come here. So I was like, let's just throw a cookout and then throw mental health in it. And it's been running ever since. So the first year we had 20 people. Last year we had 50 people. And this year I'm hoping to have 100 people show up.
Listen, every year we talk about progress. That's
yeah.
What's up. And it's crazy because this episode will drop in May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. And just in time for more men to see this, to get to your cookout so we can get to that 100 goal.
Yeah.
And I'm praying for even more than 100. I'm praying that, it surpasses the number that you have in your head because it's needed. And I think, when you get to a certain age, women you get to a certain age where you realize that ain't nothing wrong with going to therapy. You
ain't
just need
nothing
to get some
wrong
things
with
off
it.
your chest. But I know sometimes for guys it's a little, like you said, toughening out. No, I'm strong, I'm good. Like you ain't go through stuff that women went through too. Like,
you know what I'm saying? We all living the same life, going through
life.
the same thing.
That's it. So it's one of those things where like if one person can get the other people along, I feel like that helps other men who open up their eyes, open up their heart to actually open the door to walk through it. So I'm so proud of the work that you're doing, especially in our city. Like it is well needed. So.
Bridgeport especially needs it. I think everywhere needs it, but coming from Bridgeport, like if you're watching this and you from Bridgeport, if you know, you know.
You know.
Bridgeport needs all the help it can get. And I work with some kids in Bridgeport once a week. And you could see where these kids, like, they really need that. Like, they really need to be poured into in that way. So there's only one of me. So I can only be in so many places at once. But if you're interested in this kind of work, we can get you plugged in. We can make it happen for you. So
he recruiting, so y'all better
we
tap
definitely
in.
recruiting. We're not giving any signing bonuses or nothing like that. But we recruiting.
So Daily Dimensions, that is your podcast name, your business. How did that come about? Where'd you get the name from?
Daily Dimensions actually started. So the name came from, I was working at a place called Bridge House.
Okay.
It's on Fairfield Avenue in Bridgeport, Connecticut. They do amazing work. Google Bridge House. I love that place. And I had a coworker there named Todd who would like do stretches in the morning with clients and do different wellness techniques. And he started talking about the 8 dimensions of wellness. Depending on who you talk to, there's like 6 dimensions, 8 dimensions, however many dimensions of wellness. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, okay, dimensions of wellness, daily. I sat down and talked about finding a name for the podcast was the hardest thing. Mm-hmm. And finally, I was like, okay, daily dimensions of wellness. We practice it every day. I want to drop episodes every Monday. Daily dimensions just stuck. And I wanted something that like had 2 of the same letter, like the 2 D's. Right. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Okay. So then once we found the name, I was like, okay, now I just got to start recording. And what led me to start the podcast really was going through my own mental health journey. So I think 2019 was the first time I really started to be like, oh, mental health is real. Like, I'm not okay right now. Right. And it started with a really bad breakup. And a lot of men can relate to that and they won't say it. Right. But most men, like, it's going to start with a really bad breakup and you have to navigate it correctly. And I'm thankful that I had the right people in my community to help me navigate it correctly, like push me towards therapy, push me closer to God. That's part of where my relationship with God really like went from here to like here. Wow. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel better. I have something I feel like I need to share with people. How do I share it with people? Right. And it turned into a podcast. So 2020, we kicked it off and we've been running ever since.
5 years.
Yeah, November will make it 5 years. Wow. November 16th.
That's awesome.
We'll make it 5 years.
That's awesome. And before we started, we was wrapping it up about little things like mics and audio systems and stuff like that. But the progress from year 1 to year 5, like I feel like it happens at a slow rate, but faster when you look back and see like the progress that you made. Daily Dimensions, that's tough. And it's so crazy because everyone goes through a breakup, a heartbreak.
At some point
it happens.
They're gonna break your heart at some point.
And in the moment we don't realize that it's needed for our growth and our success and our way of life. And you have 1 or 2 things to do. You could soak about it and harp on it for years and wishing that person come back or be that person that they was to you in that time of your life, or you grow from it. Yeah. And you learn from that heartbreak and you step into the next, journey or chapter that you're supposed to be in. Because I feel like those seasons come in the seasons of isolation or singleness, if you will say. Like, being by yourself to like kind of learn who you are and learn your love language and like the things that you thought you wanted. You
really got to figure yourself out first. Yeah.
Especially so when that right person do come, you're ready and you're not still dwelling on that past stuff. So that's real because like you said, a lot of men, they ain't gonna admit it.
They're not gonna admit it, but I know y'all. Yeah. And y'all know me. Right. So like it happens. And I like to tell men, like, you can either, in a situation like that, you can either become Future or become Russell Wilson. Like it's nothing wrong with being Russell Wilson. Right. Right? Like, man is paid, he loves God, he loves his family. Beautiful. But a lot of men want to go the Future route because it look cool. But the whole time, that man is sad.
He's hurting.
He's hurting inside.
He's hurting.
He needs drugs to exist every day. Like, he needs a million women around. He can't really see his kids. He's angry at his baby mom. Like, it's all bad. And that's not the life that you want. But it really comes down to a choice. I think whenever we're faced with these serious life events or like anything traumatic or anything that really like shapes our life, there's a choice to be made of how am I going to allow this to affect me? Right. And a lot of us just choose whatever is the easiest.
That's such a tough scenario. You said you want to be Future or you want to be Russell Wilson?
It's one or the other.
Like, and you can tell who got a son, who has the son. Because I like to do this little thing. Like, follow the sun, following the sun. Like, following the sun but following the actual sun.
Yeah.
It goes the same direction, and you could tell who has a dark cloud over their head. Like
you could see it a mile away.
Who's sad? Like the money and the drugs and all that type of stuff. That it's temporary fix, but they don't see what he go through. Or not even him, but just other people go through behind closed doors. Like how many people running up and out of their house that they don't trust, or like they can't really open up and be themselves too. Like it's just. You don't want to be the future. Like, you
really don't want to be that person. And it's unfortunate how many men live their life without the space to be vulnerable with somebody. You know, like they'll live their whole life with just this wall up of like, okay, I got to be tough. I got to take care of everybody. I got to make sure everybody's good. And then never take the time to make sure that they're good.
Right.
And when you live that life as a man of like, as long as everybody else is okay, I'm okay. You will never be okay because you don't have the capacity to forever make sure everybody around you is good. You just don't have that in you. So at some point you got to pour into yourself. Right. And pouring into yourself can feel selfish when you're not used to it, but it's necessary because if you don't do it, no one else is going to do it for you. Nobody else is going to do it for you.
That's so real. Oh man. So you already kind of touched upon how you started off with your mental health journey, but now that you're at a space of like not healed, because I feel like I said this before, we're going to be healing, always going to be healing. There's always going to be some things that we need to heal from. How important to you is mental health, and like what are your plans to help other men see how important it is?
Mental health is super important. I think mental health is like the human existence, you know, because at any given moment, like we look at mental health and we think about immediately like the negative connotation to it, like, okay, I'm sad, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, I'm going through it. But when you're living your best life and you're happy and you're secure and all your relationships are good and you woke up with a smile on your face, that is also your mental health. So it's not just the negative side of it, but it's also the positive. And because it's both those things and it's always existing inside of you, it's the human experience. So we can't ever discount, you know, what that really is and how important that is. And I try to tell men that like everything you feel matters and you got to allow yourself the space to feel it. So,
and it's real because it's also one of those things where you become very self-aware of your emotions. You're very in tune with like the emotional side of yourself. And there's this negative connotation about having emotions when God literally gave it to us.
Gave you emotions.
He literally gave you every emotion that you feel.
Everything perfect, including the emotions he gave you.
Absolutely.
And if he didn't want you to feel it, he wouldn't have given it to you.
He wouldn't have given it to you. And when you get to that other side, it's so refreshing because you won't sit in your emotions for too long because you understand that it's different, like it's ups and downs of the emotions that you go through. Yeah. But also it's like the self-aware of it is like, okay, I'm feeling this way. Why I'm feeling this way? How can I get from feeling this way? And, you know, what is needed to be done to be on the other side of this feeling? I literally had that awareness like last week when something was going on, and like usually when this type of situation is going on, I shut down. Yeah. This passed me, shut down. I don't, like, I'm fine, I'm good, don't ask me no questions.
Yeah,
like,
just let it be, just like, let it be. Just move on.
And then last week when I had that emotion or felt this way, I'm like, hold on, why am I feeling this way? What do I need to change, and what do I need to open up and talk about so I don't have to feel this way? And, you know, I can move on and have a conversation with this person without feeling like I can't be my full self around them because I'm about to shut down. Yep. So it's like, when you start to have those conversations with yourself, I'm like, oh, I'm growing.
That's that real emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So like the next time I talk to my therapist, I'm breaking it all down to her. I'm like, all right, this is what happened. This how I felt. And this is how I was able to take myself out of the situation, to look at myself from outside of my emotions. Yeah. Like, what do I need to do? How can I work on it? And it also helped me to see I still need work. There's still work to be done. Like, obviously I said, like, healing's a process, a journey. I've been preaching that. But, like, when you can actually see the process that you need to get to, it's like you won't rush what you think you want and what you think you need because there's still some work to be done.
Yeah. And that's my problem. I rush a lot. And I've been learning how to, like, slow down. Right. Because I fall into this habit of wanting what I want and wanting it when I want it. And it's okay to want what you want, but you can't always dictate the timeline.
Right.
And I got a bad habit of trying to dictate the timeline. So over the last few years, I've been working to like, okay, God, whenever it happens, but continuing to work towards it and like be at peace wherever I'm at. And that alone, that's hard. That's hard.
Like, cause we as Christians, like we speak the word. We know the word. It's in our hearts and our mind, but that don't mean we still
humans. We still human beings.
We're not going against it, but we still like, all right, God, like, listen, I've been waiting.
You know, like you gave me this word 3 years ago.
I'm still here.
Is it still coming? I know you're not lying, but like, it feels late.
No, for real. And then, not saying that you comparing yourself to other people, but you see other people and where they're at and how they got, and like, you know, it's a timeline of like, we 30, you know, 32, what's up? Like, where's the connection? But it's just like, I heard God say to me, like, you're still going to get your promises. Like, relax. It's still coming.
He hasn't forgot about you.
He hasn't forgot about you. But also, like, when you see on the other side, like, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I still need to work on this and work on that.
And every time you think you're ready, something is going to show you that, like, okay, maybe I wasn't as ready as I thought I was. Right. Like, maybe I thought I was a little bit further, but really I just wanted it right now. So that's a very real thing.
And that's the emotional side of it, because like, emotions like, all right, God, like, you know, I'm getting anxious, like I'm getting lonely or whatever.
Yeah, like I can handle it. Just give it to me now. Right. And then he's like, nah, I know something you don't know.
So you don't. That's so real.
Just keep waiting.
So real.
Yeah.
And then I also feel like you get to a point where you have to continue to tell yourself that the wait is long because the blessing is great.
Yeah.
Like there's something on the other side of this wait, and your obedience, your patience, your diligence, like all that is coming for a reason. So it won't, whatever you're waiting for won't be temporary.
Yeah.
It'll be long lasting because you actually took the time to wait for it to come.
That's important. So. Blessings take time. Blessings take a lot of time. Like there's a process to it. And in that process, you're being molded and shaped, and it's just like everything has its season.
Yes.
And you just got to wait for that season, you know? So that's so very real. Important. That's everything has a season.
And it's crazy because might as well just go right into this. I watched the episode, My Mental Health Journey Part 2.
Yeah.
And because I'm, you know, like I said, I saw him on Instagram, didn't really know him. I'm like, let me tap in and see like really what's up, because obviously I love the work that you're doing, but I'm like, let's tap in. Very inspired by your story, by your authenticity.
There we go.
Hello. Of just how real and, you know, vulnerable you were being and stuff like that. So, obviously, you have a therapist. How long have you been with your therapist? What was the process of like trying to find a therapist? I found out in that video, but for the men that are watching, and what was that process like for you?
The process of finding a therapist is very challenging. At least for me, it was. It's not always going to be challenging for everybody, but for me, trying to find someone that looked like me and someone that I could trust, that was a challenge. My first therapist I connected with, he seemed cool, and then it just didn't work out. There was one day, like, I missed an appointment. And I'm like, no, you know, normally if you got a doctor's appointment and you miss an appointment, they're calling you like, hey, where were you? What happened? Like, can we reschedule? He never hit me back. So then I'm like, okay, maybe he'll just hit me when we got the next one. And he still never hit me back. And to this day, he's never hit me back. So I was like, okay, I guess we just don't work together anymore. So that was a terrible experience for me. Because it was like, I was navigating feelings of like, okay, like, rejection, right? So I'm like, did my therapist just reject me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did he just push me to the side?
Supposed to be helping me. Like,
someone that's supposed, you know what I'm saying? And then that activated like parental trauma, you know, because it was centered around my dad. And I'm like, okay, here's another man in my life who's supposed to be helping me, but isn't there. Right. You know what I'm saying?
No, for real.
And then what's worse is like, I'm paying you to be there. My insurance is paying you every appointment to be there, and you still not showing up for me. So now I'm like, man, you really rejected me. So that was a lot. And then it took me some time to get back into therapy again, maybe like a couple months. So I had started going to this men's group, and found my therapist through that because he was the dude leading the group. And I was like, hey, can you help me find a therapist? And he said, well, I could be your therapist if you're comfortable with it. Okay. And I said, look at God. Because in my head, I wanted it to be him, but I didn't know if he was cool with it because I'm already in this group. Right. So I'm like, I don't know if it's a conflict or whatever it may be, but it ended up working out perfectly. But if you are looking for a therapist, the easiest way is if you know someone in your life that goes to therapy and loves their therapist, ask that person. And then if not, Psychology Today is a great resource. You can go in there and literally filter out, okay, are they African American? What insurance do they take? Do they do faith-based? Do they do groups? Do they help with relationships? Whatever it is, and you can filter them out and then find the people in your area. That's how I found the first person, but you can find a lot of people like that. Absolutely. So that's probably the easiest way.
I send Psychology Today all the time. Send them the links. And if you're not in Connecticut, it filters out to what state you're in. If you want a male or female, what different religion, it filters out everything. That's how I found my therapist. And it's so perfect because you reach out. When I first started, I reached out to like 3 different people. Whoever reached out to me was the person that was supposed to reach back out to me. Yeah. So it was like, but for you, that first instance, like, man, I didn't want to go to therapy in the first place. You rejected me? Like,
you making me feel bad. Right? Like, I don't want to do this.
But it's good to know that, you know, you didn't let that stop you. Even though it took some time, you still went back and got it done. I know so many stories, or heard so many stories of people like, oh, I didn't like my therapist, and that was it. They try to, like, you know, look for another one.
For those people, I'm going to look at the camera for this. For those people who you try therapy once and you may have gone for like a week or 2 and you're like, yeah, I don't like it. Usually it's because the therapist is a bad fit, right? It's not that therapy doesn't work. It's not. If it didn't work, people wouldn't be going to get degrees to study it to make it happen for you, right? So it works, but not every therapist is a good fit. So you have to find someone who's a good fit for you. And that's going to require some emotional energy from you and some work, because you're going to have to meet somebody, express these things, talk, and be like, you know what, this isn't working. Let me go find somebody else. It's kind of like dating, right? Like you're going to meet somebody, go on a couple dates, and then it's like, okay, this isn't working. And then you got to move on and try and find the next person. So don't jump into it. Try one time, it went 2 weeks and I didn't like it, and you're like, yeah, therapy's not for me. No, it's still for you, and you still need it.
Absolutely.
You just got to take the time to keep finding a new person. So it took me getting to a third therapist to really find a person that was really for me, because I went when I was younger too, and it was okay. But then as an adult, then I had to like go through the process I went through. But when you find the right person and it really clicks, that's your best friend. You're going to want to stick with them forever.
Facts. So. You want to be texting them like, yo, you free today? Like,
like yo, can we do an extra session?
Right. And you got to be honest, too. Like, don't tell your therapist what you want to tell them because you need that answer right away. Like, I feel like you got to start from the root so your therapist can help you figure out why you're like this and why you're thinking like this. Yeah. If they don't know from the jump how you got here, it's hard for them to navigate through what you're going through right now. Yeah. You
want them to give you, like, you can't start the story in the middle.
Right.
Start from the beginning so they can really help you.
Don't start from, yesterday my boyfriend did this. No. Let's
what led to him doing that?
Right. We'll get there, but let's start from the beginning. Yeah. I think that definitely helps. And, you know, for you with your walk and discovering more about yourself, with your past trauma, how did that help you grow closer to God?
Yeah. So I was already a believer. I had been baptized. Like, I believed in God. I loved God. But I can't necessarily say my life exemplified that. Right? Because once I went away to school, it's like I just fell into everything people do in a college environment. Right. And I'm not going to church because I'm on campus. Like, that just kind of waned. And then I found myself in a space where it's like, okay, I've accepted God into my heart, but I'm not living that way. Right. You know, and if you know me from those days, you know, I was not living that way. But now I am, and my life, you know, exemplifies that. But it takes time. And I talked earlier about how I went through a really rough breakup 2019 and started my mental health journey. And I talked about community. And the community I had, which was my mother, one of my best friends, Nadia, shout out to her, and my mother's friend, Edith. And the 3 of them pushed me closer to God. And I remember my friend Nadia asking me in that moment, she was like, okay, if you're choosing this decision to handle this the right way, the faith-based way, there is no going back to try and handle it with anger.
Right.
and that stands out to me to this day. I haven't even told her that, but that stood out to me so much because it was like, okay, in that moment, if I'm choosing to do this God's way, there is no turning back to do it another way. And from that point on, I don't think I've ever not done it God's way. And it's just like, they just pushed me closer to him. They prayed for me. They would send me verses. My friend Nadia would send me how to read the Bible in a year and all types of stuff, and like check in on me and be like, hey, did you pray today? You know? So like having people around you, like community is everything.
It's so good.
Because a lot of people go through what I went through and then they just deal with it by themselves.
Right.
And that's the worst way to navigate it. So all of that really pushed me closer to God. And it got to a point where like, I couldn't even listen to any other music but gospel music. Like if I listen to something else, my spirit physically like will reject it. Right. So I'm watching sermons like 2-3 a day, listening to gospel music. I got to go to church. Like, and that was the only thing that brought me peace in that situation. And then it just became my lifestyle, you know, and slowly everything around me started to change. Friend relationships changed. Right. I had to distance myself from certain people and certain things. And once God gets a hold of your life and starts changing you, it's a domino effect. And then if you just look up and you're like, man, I'm a different person, you know? And then you look back at all the things you're used to do. And I'm like, wow, I really enjoyed that. Like I used to do that. I was wilding like that. But when God gets a hold of you and he means business with you, it's no letting go and there's no turning back from that.
That's so good. That is so good. And that's so real. So thank you for being real with that. But yeah, it gets to a point too when like, when God delivers you from the stuff that was holding you back that you didn't realize was holding you back, you don't even want it no more. Yeah. You don't want to smell it. You don't want to be around it.
You don't want to be around it. It's just not it.
And to other people, it comes off as being funny. Yeah. Because they don't see how like the growth and the progress that you made to get to where you at right now, and how that stuff was holding you back, and how it's low key holding them back too. But the great people around you, and not saying that they're not great, but the people who are like-minded that understand that.
Those like, equally yoked people.
Equally yoked.
That's everything.
Thank you.
Equally yoked people is everything, man.
Yes, because they help you to see that, nah, you don't need that, or you don't need them, or you don't need to be in those rooms because it's just going to take you back. And I don't even think it would take you back in a way, because you'll start to realize quicker than you did before that I don't need to be in these rooms. Yeah. I don't need to like have these conversations or this community. I need the people who are emotionally yoked. Yeah.
Yeah, because being in the wrong environment will drain your spirit. It'll really drain it. And then you'll start to be like, okay, I don't even want to go that direction. Yeah. Like this is who I need to be around. This is who I enjoy being around. I can't go into those old environments I used to. So.
And it's more so not them, it's me. Like and I need people to understand that it's not you, it's me. I can't
it's just, things are different now. Things are different.
It does not sit right with my spirit, and it does not make me feel good on the inside. So it's like still love you, always here for you, always will be there for you. But at the same time, for me in the walk that I'm going with Christ, I can't walk through those doors anymore. So.
And the right people will respect that, you know. And the more consistent you are with it, is the more everybody starts to respect it. Because even the friends I had in the beginning that used to like really look at it like, oh, like this is really you now, or they would the friends that constantly remind you of how you used to be, those kind of friends, like, yo, remember we used to be blah, 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 like knowing you don't live like that anymore. It's like, yeah, but like, do we have to talk about that? Like, do we got to bring that up right now? But the more consistent you are is the more people will start to treat you the way that you need to be treated. Yeah.
I love to make memories. Like, let's make new ones.
Yeah,
we don't have to keep going down memory lane.
We don't got to keep going back to the old ones. We can make new ones.
Absolutely.
We don't got to live in the past.
You don't have to live in the past. We can do so much greater and better things now. And I that's my main focus. Like, I made a decision about 2 years ago that I didn't want to live in the past anymore. Whether it was past talking about when I was 10 years old, or past talking about like high school, college, like the memories are still there, absolutely. But the stuff that was holding me back in the past, I don't want to live there anymore.
Nah, don't want to do that. I'm okay.
New memories. Let's do new things. Let's travel. Let's do whatever we need to do to like not forget it, but like just walk in the purpose of where we need to be.
Yes. Yes.
So very, very big on that. And you know, I know that's hard for some people because they tend to blame God for things that have gone on in their life, past and present, without understanding that those were never God's intentions. When He created this world, like that, this was not what He wanted for us.
He never meant to harm you.
Never meant to harm us. Never meant for us to go through any of this sicknesses, disease, all the stuff that we go through now. That's death, all that stuff that we go through right now. That is kind of it triggers us and it stops people's growth. He didn't want it for us. So what advice do you have for people who tend to blame God for the things that they're going through right now?
Yeah, that's when you sent these questions earlier. I was like, I like this question the most because it's very easy for people to go through a negative experience in life and blame God for it. And people will blame God a lot faster than they will blame the devil.
I say this all the time. Talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? Please. It's like, man, this happened. God, why did you let that happen? Why did you blah, blah, blah? And it's never like, man, the enemy did this to me. And like, I got to get closer to God and I got to fight back. And this is spiritual warfare. Like it's usually not that. Maybe some seasoned saints will say it that way.
Right.
But your average person is always like, okay, let me blame God. And sometimes I feel like that comes from the same place of like parental wounds. It's like, okay, you're my parent. You're supposed to care for me, right? Like you're God the Father. You're supposed to love me. How could you let something bad happen to me? Right. In the same way, like we have parents, and sometimes a parental relationship can be like, okay, you're supposed to be taking care of me. Why is this relationship like this? Why are you harming me? And some people can view it from that standpoint. But in reality, it's like God works all things together for the good of those that love him, right? That's scripture. I can't remember the where it is off the top of my head, but Google it. But it's don't blame God. Things happen, right? Good, bad, or indifferent things happen, and it's less about what is happening to you and more about what is happening for you. And you can go through a negative experience, but it doesn't have to turn you into a negative person. Absolutely. Like you're in control of how that experience shapes you moving forward. And if you ask 100 people, is there something in your life that you wish didn't happen to you? 100 people are going to say yes. Is there an experience that you wish didn't happen? Is there something that you wish you could take back? Is there something that you wish went different? Yeah, but it doesn't mean that, now all of a sudden we have to hate God for it, or we have to curse God for it, or God is against us. God is literally for you. And sometimes these things happen in our life are meant to push us further into greatness, And I think about that oftentimes with this podcast. Like, had I not gone through what I went through, I would have never started this podcast.
Never.
And had I not started this podcast, we would have never gotten a Cookout. And we never would have had this goal to get 500 men into therapy. And all of the other things I've done in my life, it all literally stems from one negative moment in my life in 2019. And the next 5-6 years of my life have been forever different because I chose to do something different, and I had the right people around me, the right community. And instead of blaming God for what happened to me, I said, God, what are you trying to show me in this moment? Right? What are you trying to teach me in this moment? Where do we go from here, God? Sometimes that's the question you got to ask. Like, okay, God, this is what's happening. This is how I feel. This is what's going on. Like, I know you care about me. I know you love me. Where do we go from here? And allow him to show you, and resist that control or that desire for control that makes you want to dictate where you go from here, to dictate that outcome. Allow God to really enter into your heart and mold you, shape you, and show you where it is he wants you to go from here. And I promise you're going to love the destination. You may not like the process, but you're going to love the destination, and it's going to be all right. But
absolutely,
God is for you. He's not against you.
He is so for you. He is not against you. And that's so good, because I couldn't relate more. If we didn't go through the negative and the bad things in our life, we wouldn't be the people that we are right now. Starting a podcast, reaching out to women, reaching out to men, trying to get them to, navigate through their life and their journey. It's all for a reason. And I was reading Power Moves by Sarah Jakes, and I told you that's my girl.
Yeah.
I really, really tap in with her a lot. And she said something similar to what you said in the book of like, instead of, and it's not word from word, so please don't quote me on this, but instead of you, don't let what you're going through, like, don't go through it, like, look, okay. I want to pull out the book, so I literally highlighted it. But she was basically saying, like, so often we let what we're going through take us, like, over, instead of, like, understanding that what we're going through is for, like, is helping us in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And after this episode, I'm definitely pulling out the book so I can read word for word what she said. But it took me back by surprise, because I'm like, oh snap, like, so many times we're like trying to navigate why we're going through this, or why it happened to us, instead of why we're going through it.
Yeah.
And once you take yourself out the situation and look at it from a different lens to see, like, it was all for a reason, and see that God had
all for a reason,
and all the stuff like that, it's like He's up there navigating every situation that we have or we're experiencing in our life, and trying to turn it around for our good, with every single person on this world, in this world, even if we want to or not. Like, he's trying to.
You can't fight it.
He's trying to figure out, like, you know, the serpent that's in the world, the evilness that is in the world, like, everything that the devil is meant for our bad, he is trying to figure out in a way for our good. And I want us as humans to get to a point in our lives where we can start being so mad at the devil that we don't go down his path of destruction for our lives.
Because that's who you need to be mad at.
That's where it all stems from. Because the devil's working right now to destroy this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's working right now to, like, make sure this don't get up here. But, like, when you have God on your side and you know who you're doing it for, why you're doing it for, and where your strength comes from, he can't touch you.
He can't.
Because your mind is so focused on God that it's not being mad at him to go down the destruction of the like, you know, where the devil wants you to be. And
the big thing with the devil, right, is that, and this is not to give him props or nothing, but he's good at what he does, right? Like, this man has had eternity to figure out how to be good at destroying lives.
Absolutely.
To figure out how to be good at ruining your plans and making your life miserable and steering you off course. And sometimes it's so subtle that you don't even know it's happening to you, the way that like the enemy will steer you off course. But this came to me one time when I was like in prayer, and, you know, God said to me, he was like, the enemy can't win and he knows it.
Right.
And that stood out so much to me, because you know how much hate has to be in your heart to wake up every day to try and destroy people's lives, knowing that you can't win. That's a different level of hate.
That's so deep.
That's a different level of hate, to know you can't win, but wake up every day and try anyway to destroy people's lives. And when you walk in knowing that he can't win, it makes whatever you're going through, whatever suffering, whatever tough time you're dealing with, it's that silver lining right there, knowing that he can't win, which means this tough time won't last, which means ultimately at the end of it, God is going to get the glory.
Amen.
And that's the important thing to remember. Like, whatever it is you're going through, it has an expiration date. By the end of it, you probably will be a better person. And there's a blessing, a testimony, or some sort of benefit on the other side of it. Sometimes you go through the things you go through so you can be that person that changed the next person's life.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So there is power in all of it. And it's better to embrace it and get through it and learn from it and come out better on the other side than to have like this woe is me attitude. Because some people will take their problems and make it their identity.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, nah, let's not do that. You are not the problem. Your problems are not you. You are who God created you to be, and you got to own that and step into that and like develop that Christ-like identity, and not an identity centered around your problems, your trauma, your issues, and what you've been through.
You are dropping so many gems right now. Oh my gosh. We gotta take a pause, because like, amen. Amen. Seriously, it's like, you don't have to be your problems.
You don't.
We all go through them. We all experiencing them, but how you're responding to them overshadows what you're going through. But it doesn't have to be like that at all. And you're making me want to stop this real quick, because I need to go grab that book, and I need to show the underline of what it is. But like, so many gems. So many gems, and it really is real. So we're gonna pause real quick.
Grab the book. Let's do it.
Real quick. All right, so I told y'all, Sarah Jakes, my girl, Power Moves. Okay, I had to grab this because it's so relatable to what we're talking about, and I just read this yesterday. That's why I'm like, no, I got
y'all can't see it, but it is super highlighted in this book. Like, you really doing the notes. You doing the work. It's super highlighted.
Oh my gosh. So The chapter I'm in is called The Ecosystems of You. So she's trying to break through the things that we have experienced in our lives that's taken us back from the power that we need to step into because of fear, because of rejection, because of just different things that we've gone through in our life that stopped us from stepping into the power that God has for us.
Yeah.
So yes, it is very highlighted because it's so real. And so she said, you are not supposed to be governed by your programming. You're supposed to be governing your programming. Okay. So basically, going down the lines of what you said, some of you already know that you've been programmed to play it small for far too long. It's time for you to break covenant with the wiring that has conformed you so that you can receive the update that God went to the great lengths to make sure you could receive. Transformation does not come without discomfort, and becoming powerful will be uncomfortable before it becomes liberating. And I was just like,
that's a gem.
Oh, okay. So what programming do I need to break up to step into my power? Because it's real.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things of like, and then I just started thinking about, stepping into a room with so much confidence and my confidence being knocked down by somebody who doesn't believe in me. Mm-hmm. And how that stopped me from stepping into a room with confidence, or how that stopped me from, opening up my mouth and speaking the value that's within me, because I was shut down when I had the confidence to walk into the room.
People can sow them seeds of doubt and it'll really crush you.
It will really crush you. And, I just started thinking about, oh my gosh, like I had it all within me, but it was being shunned or being stopped from, people who didn't see my potential. And that allowed me to sleep on me. And that allowed me to sleep on my voice and who I was.
Yes.
So it's like, then you start getting comfortable with, no,
I'll just stay right here. I'll stay in this little box. This is nice right here.
And she talks about that because it's like, what allowed you to dim your light?
It's breaking that mold, really, because like we said, people can sow seeds of doubt into you. People can cast fear on you, and you can get so used to just being in a certain box or in a certain mold, and you just play it safe. But instead of just living your life in whatever you think is comfortable or whatever it is, like, okay, this is it and there's nothing more, you got to be that person to shake it up and be like, no, I'm controlling what's happening around me.
Absolutely.
I'm in charge of making this different, right? I'm in charge of stewarding this in a different way, and God is going to help me to take it to that next level. Amen. So it's just partnering with God to get to that next level.
Amen. And that's exactly the road that I'm on right now.
Yeah.
So, all right, Cookout. Tell them where it is, where it's at, how they can get in touch with you, because we need more than 100 there.
So we definitely need more than 100 people there. So tell your uncle, your baby daddy, your brother, your best friend who needs a therapist but don't want one. Tell them to come to. It is going to be July 19th, West Haven, Connecticut. It is at Gateway Christian Fellowship Church right on Bull Hill Lane. I believe we're starting at 3. This is an on-time cookout. This ain't like your auntie's cookout, because we have a time limit to be there. So please show up on time, because we have a hard end time. You will be out there by yourself. So please pull up on time. The tickets go on sale April 25th. By the time you see this, they'll already be on sale. You can get them at jordanspeaking.com, and you can follow me on all social media at Jordan Speaking. I'm most active on Instagram. And then if you want to tap into the Daily Dimensions podcast, that's available on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, wherever you get podcasts. Just Google Daily Dimensions podcast. It'll pop up. But yeah, pull up to the cookout, grab you a ticket, bring your chair, bring your sandals, your Unk slippers, all of that, and it's going to be a good time. So pull up on us.
We love to hear it. Please make sure you pull up. And like he said, if you know somebody that be late, tell them the cookout started at 2, so that will get them there.
Yes, because we are starting on time. Okay. I promise you it's on time. You're going to show up and there's no burgers left. So
Jordan, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, no problem. Really, really great talking to you, so I appreciate it. My brothers, my sisters, as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And until next episode, I'll see you then.